So, just because we have the Olympics going on does not mean that NHL teams are totally shut down. In fact, as we had noted in the video just a few days ago, the fact that Jeff Skinner got placed on waivers for the purpose of mutual contract termination was because of the fact that, guess what? These teams are coming back, so Jeff Skinner is unfortunately not going to be an option for San Jose. They don't think that he is a productive piece of their team. But with that said, let's shift gears over to the Montreal Canadiens, because we did have ourselves some updates, some trade conversations, and some injury news that I think we should be diving into here. So we're talking today about Patrik Laine. We're also talking about Arber Xhekaj, what the future of these two Canadiens could look like, and what fans and writers are saying about him. Yesterday, it was posted by the Montreal Canadiens Twitter account that forward Patrik Laine would not participate in practice due to a lower body issue. He is being evaluated on a daily basis. This, of course, was some pretty negative news for Canadiens fans because, hey, Patrik Laine has been out the entire year. He has been quite the case study for Montreal Canadiens fans to try and analyze where exactly his future lies in the NHL. He was brought onto the Habs. He had himself a very reasonably good season with 33 points and 20 goals in 52 games, kind of fizzled out towards the end there and became injured in the postseason. And injury issues carried over into this season here as well, where Laine only has 5 games played on the entire year. He was supposed to be coming back, but now he got hurt again. This is why you've got fans going out there and saying, you need to give up a first-round pick to get rid of this guy. Like the Leafs did with Patrick Marleau, Seth Jarvis would have been good in the blue and white. Too bad. Now, I will say this, you don't need to give up a first-round pick to get rid of Patrik Laine because the guy's contract expires at the end of the season. If anything, if a team is really interested in the potential of what Patrik Laine could be, they're thinking about the goal scoring, they're thinking about the versatility on the wing there, they're thinking about the shot, then maybe you could get yourselves like a third or something if a team is really willing to bite on the potential of Patrik Laine. We had some other tweets going out there. Priyanka Emrith said essentially the same thing. It's a lower body ailment, and he is being evaluated daily. I can't wait to see the last of that guy in Montreal. Can Laine ever get a break? Dump him ASAP. Finally, you had yourselves Renaud Lavoie going out there this morning, tweeting out that Laine felt something on the ice earlier this week and wanted to do some testing to be sure it wasn't something serious. That's why he wasn't at practice yesterday, and he should resume skating, if not today, sometime this week. So, I'm not going to discredit the idea that Patrik Laine could very well just come back today, right? I'm recording this video at 8 a.m. It's still way too early in the morning. Canada is playing off against Czechia as I am recording, and I'm watching the game in front of me here. But this, obviously, will allow some Habs fans to breathe a little bit easier. Hey, Laine is not like terribly drastically hurt. There might just be something that he is feeling that he wanted to get checked out. Therefore, the missing of practice yesterday. Maybe he does come back today. Who really knows? Some other folks are going out there and saying up, hello darkness, my old friend. Pretty sure he is gone. And let's get some sad violin action in there. Whether or not Patrik Laine does get traded, that is something we will wait and see. The trade deadline is a few weeks away, so there still is time for Kent Hughes to pull something off. You could say the same thing about one Arber Xhekaj. And the reason we are diving into Xhekaj in this video as well is because of an article posted by Stu Cowan on the Montreal Gazette, how Arber Xhekaj's future might be brighter with a new team. This article will be linked in the description, and it reads that competition for a spot on the Canadiens' blue line will only get tougher moving forward with Reinbacher and Engstrom in the picture. Let's scroll down over here and read the top question. Deke Rivers on Twitter asks, Marty St. Louis obviously doesn't trust Xhekaj after 4 years of coaching him, and he's cutting back on the already limited minutes he does get to play. My question to Cowan is, do you think the best thing for Xhekaj's NHL career is A, asking for a trade, or B, signing an offer sheet if he receives one? This is what Cowan writes. That's a good question. This is the last season of Xhekaj's 2-year, $2.6 million contract, and the 25-year-old can become an RFA on July 1st. He is only averaging 11:20 of ice time this season, the least of any of the 8 defensemen the Canadiens have used. In 50 games, the 6'4", 240-pounder has been scoring only 1 goal and 1 assist, and he is a -7 while leading the team with 135 hits. The competition for a spot in the Canadiens' blue line is only going to get tougher moving forward, with David Reinbacher and Enstrom playing for the AHL's Laval Rocket and looking to make the jump to the NHL. At this point in his career, a trade to another team willing to give him more ice time would be the best thing for Xhekaj's career. I can't see the Canadiens trading him to a team within their division, but Ottawa Senators owner Michael Andlauer is a big fan of Xhekaj from their time together with the Hamilton Bulldogs, a team Andlauer owned when they won the OHL championship in 2022. Andlauer, who used to be a minority owner for the Canadiens, played a role in Xhekaj getting invited to Habs development camp after not being selected at the NHL Draft. It would be interesting to see if the Senators or another NHL team would be willing to give Xhekaj an offer sheet, since he brings a unique mix in today's NHL size and toughness, along with the ability to play a game when given a chance. And then the next question goes out there and says, hey, we should throw Xhekaj on the left wing. He could go out there and do some damage, and that actually is not a new idea either. The idea of Xhekaj playing on the wing, potentially with his brother Florian. But, oh boy, Arber Xhekaj, an offer sheet to the Ottawa Senators? That would be total chaos, would it not be? A rival team that has had their issues with this guy in the past, the owner going out there and saying, hey, I like that dude. We brought him on to our OHL team and won the championship. We also brought him to the Montreal Canadiens, and he became a pretty good force. Physical, big, just a solid brick of a human being. A guy that could go out there and just terrorize the ops. Let's bring him to Ottawa. Let's sign him to an offer sheet. If he ends up going over to this D-Corps that boasts the likes of some pretty big defensemen and some pretty notable ones too. Obviously, the best players, Sanderson, Chabot, they're great. But I think of big, movable guys like Tyler Klevin, for example, to play alongside of an Arber Xhekaj. That would be pretty gnarly for the rest of the Atlantic Division. And of course, I would agree here with Stu Cowan's assessment that it doesn't seem likely that Montreal would be interested in trading Xhekaj to a team like Ottawa. But if there is an offer sheet angle to it, and the Sens just say, hey, yeah, let's take your shiny toy, let's take your sheriff and use him against you, there could be some potential there. I don't know. If Michael Andlauer does get his hands involved on the decision-making of the Ottawa Senators and says, hey, let's get that guy. Let's go out there and make a push happen. Let's go and double his contract. Let's give him some extra years, whatever, then maybe there can be some potential fodder for an upset here. The fact is, Arber Xhekaj is from Hamilton, Ontario. He's probably okay with sticking around in the eastern side of Canada. It's not like he will be super stingy on where it is he gets signed to, as long as whichever team offer sheeting him gives him money. We know how NHL players are, and I'm not saying that Arber Xhekaj needs to be super committed to the Canadiens to the point that he'll reject extra dollars to do so, but if there was an extra thing coming his way from Ottawa, an extra few million a season, I would be understanding if he ends up deciding to sign there. With all that said, you can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. The article is going to be linked in the description. The Habs Mailbag Montreal Gazette article. Let me know your thoughts. How do you feel about Patrik Laine and his situation? What are your thoughts on Arber Xhekaj potentially getting offer sheeted by the Senators? I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.